Hi to everybody. First of all, let me thank the organizer of this very interesting event for inviting me. Today, I will speak about sustainability and well-being in a very simple way. Let me start. The humans, we have the great chance to live in the Earth planet, and also elephant and bees and flowers and fruit have the same chance. The difference, the difference is that they don't know it. We have this chance because the Holocene and the kind gift it gave us almost 12,000 years ago, and the gift is the gentle climate in which we have been able to thrive and prosper millennium after millennium. And we have a second chance. We are still living within the Holocene epoch. But the times are changing, as Bob Dylan was singing uh, many decades ago. And today we are entering the Anthropocene epoch. For many experts, we are already in this new geological and climate epoch. But what exactly does it mean? Anthropos is an ancient Greek word that means human being, and Anthropocene means the epoch of the very long Earth history during which the human impacts on the Earth are larger and stronger than those of nature. This is very important, notably volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunami, and hurricanes and typhoons, even asteroids, and so on. So some might be proud of this fact, and they can think, "Hey, folks, we have developed so much our civilization that we are getting stronger than nature." But this is madness. This is hubris, really, and. It is true that sometimes scientists are too pessimistic, and but if we have not yet entered the Anthropocene epoch, we must do everything possible not to enter it. In the contrary, if we have already entered this epoch, Anthropocene, as many scientists say, and as the Nobel Prize winner Paul Crutzen said many years ago, we must do everything necessary to get back to the Holocene climate. Unfortunately, there is only one way back. Before we understand how, we have to understand why we must go back to the Holocene climate. There are because there are very some very good reasons, and no one has given human beings the right to change nature, the right to damage the planet beyond a certain limit, a limit that, honestly speaking, we have already exceeded. One, of course, can say, but what we can do? We can overcome, of course, any limits, almost any limit. Because since the 17th century, the human mind is oriented, is shaped to overcome any limits, any natural limit. But this fact does not mean that this is the right thing to do, and or that overcoming limits is our right, is not our right. We must respect nature, and because it belongs to all living species, and the humans, but also fungi, viruses, bacteria, flowers, and wild animals. But last but not least, nature also belongs to our sons and daughters, to our great grandchildren and great grandchildren, people who maybe in 100 years they will live, hopefully, in the kind Holocene climate. And This can only happen if we start now to change our habits and not tomorrow or next Monday, as we used to say when we have to start a diet. Today, because it would have been better to start yesterday. What do we have to do? Each of us can and must, please, look, can and must start doing something to reverse the climate crisis. We have generated over the last 150 years. It is time to help the planet and its wonderful biodiversity. Just as our wonderful planet was helping us for millennia and for free, above all for free. This is very important. When we do workout or jogging or physical training just to regain the body shape or to develop our muscles, we usually start slowly, one step more every single day. When walking or running for exercise, we feel fatigued at first, but after some days and exercise, we feel better. And running for longer distances and producing more and more endorphins. And endorphins are very important for our pleasure and above all for our mental well-being. To stop entry into the Anthropocene, we must reflect on a very serious problem. Nowadays, the Earth, our planet, is hosting to approximately 8 billion human beings. Scientists and experts of the United Nations organization are estimating that we will be around 10 billion in less than 30 years. It may be too many, too many. After World War II, a very small number of nations, European countries, of course, United States of America, first, Canada, Japan, Australia, these nations have grown enormously in numbers and in quality of life. But environmental and ecological costs have been very high. Some other countries started to improve their development only during the last 3 decades. In particular, China, Russia, India, Brazil, Chile, Indonesia, South Africa, and Vietnam, and some others. But most of people in the rest of the world still live in underdevelopment and in poverty in comparison with our quality of life. So we should engage in a mental exercise. If we want to live in peace with nature, we should start to slowing down, reducing the withdrawal of natural resources. We should seek new and different standards of quality of life, something completely different, giving a greater importance to intangible values such as beauty and peace and serenity and slowness, frugality, even idleness. Look, even idleness is very important. We should learn the beauty of slowness by changing our everyday life. You might ask me, but how do we do it? And talking is easier than acting. Yes, you are right. You're right. Absolutely. But many people sometimes think it is better waiting for governments. Politics and governance have to take decisions for a more sustainable life, not me. Yes, I understand this behavior. But if we wait for politics, we will die of heat or thirst or drowned by the increasingly frequent storms. Each of us should act now without waiting and see what our national government decides, what our hostile neighbor will do in his home, because the neighbors are always hostile, or what commitments the rough inhabitants of the city next to ours will make. You might rightly think, okay, but how can I change things thanks to my little and insignificant example? Having this doubt is natural and reasonable. When these doubts arise, we should think about um, for instance, the Hudson River headwaters, or those of Colorado River, or any other river. We think when we think to these headwaters, we see only small and very little streams. It is amazing how these small and placid springs slowly become enormous rivers of enormous power. We must always look forward and look up. Small individual and community action or communitarian actions aimed at a better local sustainability always have a great and positive impact on a global level. These actions have the potential to become best practices, demonstrating that it's possible to respect nature. My single action alone is not enough, but my small example can act as an accelerator, multiplying the reactivity of many others and helping to produce and expand a positive ecological footprint. In doing so, my mental well being and my spiritual satisfaction will grow day by day. Please pay attention. Mine is a very selfish speech. It's really a selfish thinking. To live better and better, I have to commit myself in making nature living better. Many people around me will take a look, hopefully, and some of them will imitate what I'm doing. Others, hopefully, will do even better and even more. And you can see the sense of the meaning of selfish thinking. Thanks to this process, in fact, my well-being will increase again and again, and not only my well-being, but the well-being of the community. I can reduce, for making some example, I can reduce my energy and water consumption in many different small ways, day per day. I can give up using the air conditioning every day. We can try to do that. I can use air conditioning at higher temperatures than I usually prefer. I can reduce the heating level in my home during winter using an extra wool sweater or two pairs of socks. Why not? It's very simple. I can buy a smaller car, or I can renounce to some flights. Flying is very, very polluting. And I can stop by fruit and vegetable produced on the other side of the world. This is very expensive in environmental terms. I can cut down on the food I eat at least a few days a week. I can survive by eating meat once a week and even never. Look, I'm Italian. I eat a few meat and salami. I don't know if you know, but in Italy, salami are really, they have a wonderful taste. They are wonderful. And they are ancient tradition and are a part of hundreds of local cultures. So we cannot erase the past. Our cultural heritage, our material legacies matter, and this is important to save, but in a sustainable way. If I have a garden, I can grow a vegetable garden. If I have not a garden, I don't have a garden, I can organize myself with other people, with my neighbors, and just to manage and sharing a community vegetable garden. If we wanted to, we can reduce the use of plastic. We need to think about what kind of plastic we can eliminate and which one we need to use. We are using a lot of plastic, and we can choose what is really fundamental and what we can eliminate. We can dress in natural fiber clothes. Yes, I know. Natural fiber clothes are more expensive, but at least we don't pull oil on our skin. because synthetic materials are always petroleum derivatives, and this is danger for our skin, our body. As Gregory Bateson was teaching many decades ago, we can recover our personal ecological thought, giving greater importance to words and concepts that we don't consider in all their growing value. Word as the first one is small. Small is always better than large, always better than bigger. As we learned from the worldwide bestseller, Small is Beautiful, Economics as If People Mattered, published in 1973 by Ernst Friedrich Schumacher or Schumacher. And we all should read this book. The Times Literary Supplement considers Small is Beautiful among the 100 most influential books edited, published since World War II. The second very important word is slowness. Slowness is very important, which does not means indolence or delay, and allow us to better tasting the emotions of the everyday life. The third word is parsimony. Uh, Parsimony, a great virtue, and I'm sorry for my bad English, a great virtue that our grandparents and great grandparents practiced every day once, and that we have forgotten by assigning an excessive value, too bigger value to material consumptions of good things, food, clothes, and any other devilry we deem necessary. The fourth word is linked to the next one, the former one, and is sobriety. We have to learning again to understand as if we were capricious children when enough is enough. And this is a very important concept, a very important behavior. When enough is enough. The concept of enough is strategic, being very personal and intangible. Everyone has the proper idea of enough. But having this concept can have an enormous impact on the environment. And we must learn once more when enough is enough, because the planet is not big enough to satisfy all our desires. This is very important. If we re-educate ourselves to live with less, we can do that. We will be able to give more value to what we choose, what we buy, what we make, and above all, we can give more value to the gifts we are receiving every day from nature. The last word is the most important one, is peace. We Peace is always better than war. Of course, you see what is happening now, just in these days in Ukraine, in Europe. It is a madness. It's crazy, and peace is something that we don't take care with the real importance. Every year, humans around the world spend trillions of dollars to build, send, and use, producing enormous weapons, very dangerous and wonderful guns and bombs. Wonderful, just a joke. And to produce these weapons, we produce millions of tons of carbon dioxide emission, and millions of people is dying for this. We produce all these things to kill, not for our well-being. Last but not least, and I'm finishing, every time we wake up in the morning, starting a new day, we should remember that nature fills us with free gifts, very important free gifts, such as oxygen, water, and the warmth of the sun. The raining is wonderful. The silence of the moon and the beauty of billions of stars, allowing us to live and feel emotions. I want to use this image just to close my speech. Reaching the moon with a rocket many decades ago in 1969 was a beautiful feat. And we all have to thank United States of America for this adventure. But let me tell you that more important than getting to the moon is being able to look at the moon every night for centuries and centuries to come. Thank you very much.